Hey guys, so today is kind of a different thing. I don't usually do this, but I am not feeling that great in terms of I guess physically. But I came to some really, really big realizations today, and I just wanted to share it to document, etc. and just kind of talk about this moment in time. And I don't really feel like setting up a camera and doing the whole shebang because I'm just tired. But as I'm sure you guys may know, the winter solstice is really close, and it hit me like a train yesterday. I was doing pretty good, really, really good, actually. I was kind of surprised. And then it did finally hit me yesterday where I'm a lot more tired, a lot more this, a lot more that. And that's okay. I think I understand what's happening, and it has really, really, really big implications. And to be honest, it's something I just cried about, So let's get into it. I have been having a lot of estrogen fluctuation the past couple of days, and I was really confused. It's something that's kind of been building throughout December very slowly, and it was something where it's like I feel bloated, extremely bloated. My number on the scale is drastically higher. I think it's 20 pounds higher, which is kind of insane. Even as much as I've eaten, I know it's not 20 pounds worth. So it's definitely some kind of swelling going on. And I had this realization really because yesterday and today I've been having what I used to call, or what I used to talk about all the time. I've been having my estrogen episodes, which is kind of usually there's a mental component to it as well, but there really hasn't been now. But there's this feeling of itchiness and bloating, and it's very characteristic. And I used to get it all the time the first year I was doing this journey. And usually I'd have diarrhea as well. I haven't really had that anymore. And, I could just tell that my estrogen has been higher. This is going to sound really weird, but just whatever. I have to just say it so that I know it's for posterity. So if it sounds crazy to you guys, I'm sorry. You can turn this off. I don't really care, I guess. We'll get back to normal scheduled programming soon. But so I've noticed for me, whenever I have really, really, really high estrogen, I kind of have this feeling of man hate. It's it makes me have a lot less empathy for men. And I feel very oh, men are acting this way with me or they're that way. You just get kind of sensitive and extra about it. And obviously, that happened a lot in my life, within a romantic context. It was just horrifying. But I've been having some weird, resurgences of those kind of thoughts and those kind of things. And I was just what is going on? And I realized my libido was a lot lower the past couple 2 days. It's drastically lower. I feel weird. I'm looking at my hair. My hair is it is so thin. It's crazy. And then I'm getting this pot belly feeling where it's a lot of swelling in my gut. And literally, like, throughout the course of the day, it's like my gut will kind of deflate and the fluid goes into my chin and my thighs to the point where I can fit in my pants in the morning, and in the afternoon I can't, and then at night I can again. Like, this level of like fluid fluctuation, which is absolutely insane. And all of the things combined today, and I realized, I was like, okay, like, I don't have any feelings of adrenaline. I don't have any anxiety. Really, I just have a feeling of high estrogen. And I was like, what is going on? And I realized today it's like the estrogen, it goes up and it goes down like within a day. So very, very quickly, as if my liver's processing it. That's why I feel I'm getting those feelings of itchiness. And, you know, the swelling, especially swelling, is super characteristic of estrogen, as well as the weird emotional effects that I've already talked about. You know, like where it's like my feelings towards guys I'm romantically interested in, it will change within a few hours. And it was just so weird. And I was like, what is going on with me? Like, and I had this realization that, in my opinion, the only thing that could cause estrogen fluctuation that fast and that much would be fat loss. And I think what it is it's the fact that it's the winter solstice. So my thyroid is at its weakest in the entire year right now. And thyroid hormone opposes estrogen. So if your thyroid hormone is weak, then the estrogen in your body, it's very strong. It's like very unopposed and very noticeable. And I think that's why I'm seeing it, is because my thyroid is just too weak to oppose it. So this overall process usually would fly under the radar if my thyroid was stronger. And so I think I realized the weak point is exposing this estrogen fluctuation. And what that's doing is basically communicating to me that even at this time, the lowest point of the year, I am losing fat through a combination of years of effort. And I'm talking like, you know, I'm going on 3 years in March, but through a culmination of years of effort, through so much exercise, through, you know, my complete change of diet, a complete avoidance, almost complete avoidance of seed oils for 3 years, almost. My metabolism has sped up so much. And really in December, my appetite started coming down from its highs in November, when I was very, in my opinion, I was either going through some kind of serotonin fluctuation, or I was very deficient in certain vitamins, especially fats, because I had a more low-fat diet this year. And I really, really needed fat in November. But my appetite came down, and really the combination of factors where I can no longer eat enough for how active I am, for how much I weigh, and for everything else. I can no longer eat enough to sustain a weight that is much lower than my highest. You know, I weigh probably around 320 right now. I cannot sustain it anymore. At the lowest point of the year, I am losing fat. And I'm not trying at all. I'm not going to the gym. I'm not counting calories. I'm not even limiting myself at all. I am going solely on my appetite, solely on what I want to have, and solely on, my activity, which I've been working a lot, so I'm very active. But those things, like no effort whatsoever, none, with zero effort at this time, I am still losing enough fat to trigger a hormone response, which just showed me that my metabolism is so much faster than it used to be. And I think I'm losing barely anything. Like, let's keep it real. I'm probably losing like 0.2 pounds in a week or something. Like it's probably very, very little because I'm eating a lot and I'm just, I'm not trying at all. But still, to be slowly losing at this point, it has a lot of implications for the rest of the year. I was hoping that I could have a moment because my skin is kind of crepey. My hair is thin as shit. Like, I'm, experiencing, it's tough. It's like when you live off of the PUFA in your fat cells, when you live off of this fat is toxic. So it has like certain effects and it makes you it kind of ages you a bit. And it was jarring to me. And last year I could take a break in the winter and I could kind of get that beauty back. And I really can't this year because I can't stop losing. And so I just realized like, okay, like I'm going to have to take another L. My body can't rejuvenate itself and, reach this new point because it continues to lose because I can't eat enough to keep the weight off. And that's something I never thought I would say. Or I can't eat enough to keep the weight on. So, I cried. I did this whole shebang. I think there's this really strange feeling of just understanding how inevitable this is now. It really is inevitable. It's not going to change. I am going to lose this weight come hell or high water. And it is like incredibly freeing, but also incredibly scary. I talk a big game about not identifying with my fatness, and I try really, really, really hard not to. But I still really took comfort in the fact that I felt that I could stop it if I ever needed to. And I tried, and I can't. And that's crazy to me. So I've realized my new paradigm is not, can I choose to lose the weight or not? My new paradigm is, I can choose to lose it slower or faster. That's it. And so I think I'm going to I think after Christmas, I'm just going to do a Taylor Swift Eras Tour stage dive, and I'm just going to dive in, even though it's going to be winter and it's probably going to be very unpleasant. But I think it's like, I just can't stand this feeling of losing weight. I know it's a weird thing to say, but it's just this very weird feeling. I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one that pays attention to it because I'm so psycho or so introverted or whatever, but it's like this, it's really funny. I said this earlier this year. It's really like a breakup. It's like the feeling of weight loss is like you're going through a breakup. And even if it's the tiniest little bit of weight, that's like how it feels. It's such a weird thing to say. It's kind of gay, to be honest, to say it that way, but it's like a breakup. It's like you just feel kind of sad and you feel kind of listless and you're just like, oh my gosh, like I don't know what's going on. And you have those types of feelings, and then you also feel just so like, tired and moody and, these types of feelings as the weight comes off, because it does affect your hormones. I mean, I've told you guys, it's literally causing my estrogen to fluctuate throughout the day. I mean, that's crazy. Of course it's going to affect me. Now that effect will be less dramatic as we get towards June. It will get weaker and weaker. After the solstice, it will change, and it'll probably become more of a background feeling, but that background feeling is still real. Whereas right now it's so physical and so like blatant. I think the serotonin thing I went through this year is pretty much over, which is amazing. That was a huge accomplishment. That was very difficult to go through. As somebody who used to have constant diarrhea, I don't have diarrhea ever anymore. Like, I really don't. And that's incredible. And, the migraines are getting less and less often. I was thinking I was going to have so many migraines this December. I really didn't. And things are lifting up in that regard. So that is kind of wrapped up. And I could cry because that was such a horrible process to adjust to my serotonin coming down. And, I've really leaned into not living from anger and all these different things. But it's really good that that's done. But I keep wanting to burp when I'm talking to you guys. It's so fugly. Anyways, so I think this is the reality. The reality is I'm not going to be fat anymore. And it's just like, it's really weird because it's only going to get faster from here. Like, my metabolism will only speed up. And so this is a thing. So I just cried because I'm just like, wow, like, I can feel, the physical effects of the weight loss and the deficit, even though I'm almost trying not to lose weight, and I still can't. Like, I bought more food for tonight, and I just don't have any appetite to eat it whatsoever. And so it's like, to have all these feelings at the lowest point of the year, it really says a lot. And, so come especially January, I am stage diving into my Eros tour. I am going into the stage, diving deep underwater, and I am just doing it because I'd rather this be over faster than slower because it's so uncomfortable. I'm going to just do Christmas. After the Christmas food is done, I'm not going to eat any sugar anymore. I'm cutting it out. I'm going to really up my quality of carbs. So I'm not going to have any more candy or any added sugar at all. I'm going to use that as a calorie reduction tool, since sugar is mostly, it doesn't have any nutrients in it, and I'm going to need as much nutrition as I can. And because I don't have this serotonin issue anymore, I'm not going to become like horrifically depressed when I cut out sugar anymore, which is just like crazy. Like, the amount of work that was done this year is just wild. It's kind of more than I thought I could accomplish, to be honest. But anyways, so I don't think that's going to happen anymore. I'm going to start going to the gym. I'm just going to cut out the sugar completely. And I'm just going to eat fruit and starch. I haven't decided on juice yet. I'm leaning towards yes to juice, to be honest. But maybe not from March. I'm probably still going to make things stricter for spring. So I'm probably going to count again, and maybe that's when I won't have juice anymore, is at that time. I'm going to use the winter to not count calories. I'm going to try to stock up on nutrition. And I think cutting sugar will be enough. Cutting sugar and going to the gym will probably be enough for me to at least get back down to 300 by March. That's my honest opinion. By the end of March, I mean. So that's kind of my winter strategy, is just like eating a little bit more intuitively, but also not, because I'm totally cutting out sugar, which is like a huge step. You know, it was something I really needed during my severe hypothyroidism. But I'm not anymore. It's just moderate. It's fine. And this proves it. If I'm still losing at this time, it just proves it. So it's a wrap. So this is done, you guys. I'm like, oh my God, I'm breaking up with sugar. I think it's done. I really do. It's going to be really interesting. I think things are going to move fast next year. I have a feeling. Maybe not. Maybe I'm blowing it up in my head, but it's just, it's hard. I think it's hard for people to understand how big this is, because this is probably, to put it simply, this is the complete antithesis and complete opposite reality that I've had the past 2 years in December. It's been the complete opposite. So this is huge in terms of like major breakthrough moment, major implications for the future. I thought this summer was massive fat burning. I think the coming summer may be even bigger, because it's totally changing, and my body is completely changing on the inside. So I think that has big implications. I know this is weird to talk about in this way. I just, and I'm sitting here crying about it just because it's kind of scary a little bit. It is kind of scary, but it's also like not that scary, It's just very real. And it's like the feeling of breaking up with obesity it's such a bizarre feeling, and it's so slow. It's like a relationship that turns sour over a long, slow period of time. And eventually you separate, And it's a strange, strange feeling. And it is weirdly emotional, even though I try so hard not to be emotional about it. I really do. That's why I always say to not, because I have to make an effort almost every day to not think of it this way. But I'm only saying all this now because where I'm at in my journey, it's inevitable. It doesn't matter anymore. Like, it doesn't matter what I feel. It doesn't matter what I think about. This is a physical reality. My only choice is to go faster or slower. And I'm just going to decide to go faster, because there's no reason not to, especially after Christmas. So that's my thought process. That's where I'm at. This is what I'm seeing now. I will talk to you guys again soon. This is crazy. So I'm glad I documented this. Alrighty. I'll talk later. Bye-bye.